away from quicker than Schubeck. That is close. And look at Myers, too. And we've got Andrew Werner at, holy, jumping. Schleif, 125.151. Werner, 125.154. Schubeck, 125.160. And Myers, 125.164. How close can you get? There's going to be some great action if their race pace is going to be very similar here. We're going to have some great action for like P4.
Oh, you're not kidding. These guys are splitting hairs with these times here tonight. Thousands of a second separating these drivers here tonight. Gonna make for some really great racing.
Unbelievable.
But Jack, I gotta tell you, these guys up front, up top, they are fighting tooth and nail right now. They're still swapping positions. Matt Taylor up in third, Werner to fourth, Schleif to fifth, Schubeck down to sixth. These guys are just going at it tooth and nail.
Can't, you know, for anybody that's going to watch this, the difference between 4th place and 20th place is less than a second.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I'm definitely hanging up my helmet.
A sabbatical, Jack.
Sabbatical, all right. I'm telling you, Kenny, I don't know. These guys are so closely matched. It is going to be a fabulous race tonight.
I believe so. They've got them setups figured out, which is great. On board with Mikey Greatrix, P22 right now, as he comes around for his lap time, slides it a little bit through the Red Bull Mobile corner. Almost 2 seconds off the pace. I think that slide cost him quite a bit of time. Johnny McIntyre back in 23rd, driving the 550 Maranello Ferrari. Kreshnik Khalili with the C5 Corvette has an off there. Lugnuts driving the other C5. So is Lugnuts subbing for Paul Hall?
No. He's taken a car out. He's actually claiming that Corvette.
Okay.
Paul Hall's in the Mad Croc Corvette. He's going to claim that car for next week's race at Mosport. And any of you GT2 guys, you want to race in the fastest track in North America, you want to come out next week and strap on a car for Mosport.
Yeah, I was actually doing some practice laps this week at Mosport, Jack, and boy, what corner is that? Is that the Jackie X corner, that really tight double right-hander?
That would be Moss Bank, named after Sterling Moss.
Sterling, that's right, man. Let me tell you something. I found the barrier several times coming off of that corner.
You know, the entrance uphill into the air, it's a tricky one.
It is.
Talking about tricky, all these guys are pretty tricky. Now, you know, David Poole has not been able, after, you know, his third hot lap, has not been able to better his time out there of a 124.73. But apparently, he doesn't need to at this point.
Not at this point, but boy, I got to tell you this much. You said that the last time these GT1 cars were here, the pole position was a 124.8. Well, you know what? 124.8 for Matt Taylor, 124.8 for Ryan Schleif. These guys are just getting faster.
Yeah, John Ludden up there with a 124.9. I mean, and that's only good enough for fourth. And then, you know, right behind him, fifth of 125, almost flat. And then 125's all the way back to 19th position. It is going to be a barn burner.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we have about 4.5 minutes left. Just jumped on the hood cam with Mr. John Ludden. And just want to say a special thanks to Al for providing me with the mod that changes the camera views. We can go on board now inside the cockpit and everything with these drivers. So John Ludden now starting his hot lap, getting the lights to go by from one of the Lister Storm drivers. Boy, I tell you, that turn 3 is so tricky. There it is, off camber, leaning to the left, yet turning to the right.
Just a little update. Alex Scott has jumped up to P5.
John Ludden almost 4/10 of a second slower than the pole time, but he's coming around the last bend right now. He's putting down the power. He is making a run for that start-finish line. No improvement, not enough. 3/10 of a second off. We're going to jump on board with Alex Scott quickly. Oh, he's on his outlap, so we'll catch him as he comes across the start-finish line. But wow, what a run. He put himself in P5 with a 1:24.9.
Yeah, these guys are really putting on a show here tonight, is for sure.
Yeah, you're not kidding, Jack. These boys are...
Whoa, look. Hey, Matt Taylor has just put down, and you're not going to believe it, Kenny, switch over to the leaderboard.
Holy cow, 1:24.732.
They are tied. They are literally tied. I have never seen that. Never.
I have never, in the years running GTR2, seen anything like that. So, David Poole, Matt Taylor... tied for pole with a 1:24.732 equally. Wow.
Now, who starts on pole?
Well, there is a fourth digit in there that we are not seeing because GTR2 does not display it, but that is the differentiator. Furthermore, David Poole was the first one with the 732, so he would take pole.
You know, I've been doing these broadcasts for longer than I really care to admit there, Ken. I have never, ever witnessed that. I don't think I've witnessed two identical qualifying times, period, anywhere through the field, let alone for, pole position.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I've never witnessed that myself.
Unbelievable.
So, we said that we were going to catch up with Alex Scott on his hot lap. There's about 50 seconds left in qualifying. We're on board with Alex Scott. He is trying to better his time. Oh, a big slide. That's going to hurt him. That's going to hurt big time. I don't see any improvement on this lap.
No, that slide just did it for him. I mean, we're talking about, thousandths of a second, and that was it. That cost him thousands.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's only 1/10.
Watson just jumped up to 7th.
Alex Scott only 1/10 off the pole pace. Where did he fall? Oh, he took it off. He's done. Watson up to 7th. Schubeck in 8th. Myers, Cuppet, Merriman. Now, Ian Jolicoeur is sitting back in 13th right now, and I believe that Aaron Parsons is even further back.
I'm just going to go grab one of our pole setters, and I'll be right back.
So, folks, oh my goodness, there you have it. 1:24.732, first and second.
Matt Taylor, Ken and Jack in the broadcast booth. Can you believe what you just did?
Not one bit. Not only, I wasn't expecting to be anywhere near
That's
I have
incredible.
never seen a tie in qualifying for any position.
Yeah, congrats on that. That's great.
Now, Matt, just a bit of word of advice from the broadcast boys. Keep it all together. You got a good chance at this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do just that. Keep on track, and hopefully come out with a good finish.
Boy, we'll keep our eyes on you. Good luck tonight.
Lots of luck.
Thanks, guys.
So there you have it, Matt Taylor coming up to the broadcast, getting on the broadcast channel to give you folks a little detail as to what he did. What that change was is still yet to be discussed. We're gonna have to send our snooper somewhere around there and figure out what that change was.
Hey, Kenny, we got David Poole up here. David, have you ever witnessed what just happened tonight?
I have seen equal laps before. I don't know if I've seen it for the pole or not, though, but I've seen exactly the same time, and it gives credit. I don't know if it counts out further or how that works. I think it must count out further decimals than it displays, but yeah, it's about as close as it's going to get, huh?
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, for all the broadcasts I've done, David, and I've been doing this for a while here at NAGP, I have never seen equal times anywhere, and I just cannot believe what a great job the two of you guys did tonight.
Yeah, thanks. It was certainly the fastest one I've done. I might have been able to squeak out another tenth. It's just so hard to put a lap together at this track. You got to take some risks to go really quickly, and you know, that was on the edge pretty much the whole time on that lap, and I think I got close to it a couple of times, but that was that's certainly about as quick as I can go, and without some luck.
Fantastic.
Well, with the qualifying times, it looks like there's 20 drivers within 1 second of your pace that you sent out there. So it is going to be a great race tonight, David. We wish you all the best.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of a repeat of Monday. The times are really close like that, so we'll see. Gonna have my hands full trying to keep these guys with the more powerful cars behind me for the first few laps, but I'll see if I can fight them and stay in it till the end, I guess.
Well, lots of luck out there, David.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks for joining us, David Poole.
So, David Poole, your pole sitter, Matt Taylor with an equal time. And again, we're probably just not seeing those fractional decimal numbers that GTR2 does not show, which is probably the differentiator at this time, at this point. So, there you have it.
Yeah, and they are showing David Poole as, you know, the number one. Time right now. So you're right. You know, he has beat him by like less than 1,000th of a second, which is nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. That's a photo finish. I don't even think you'd see it in a photo.
I don't even think you could see it in the photo. It takes high-tech, high-powered electronics to determine that.
Now, that's interesting. Interesting. We're going to have to lobby the CCs. They should both get points for setting the pole. They had equal times visible, even though they're giving David Poole the pole. This is getting a lot of poles in here, but they should give them both. They should give them both points for that.
I agree. I agree. That's something that we have not seen on any broadcast that we have done, Jack. So definitely merits a little bit of lobbying with the CC here at NAGP to see if we can squeak out an extra point for Mr. Matt Taylor and having done such a great job. So we'll get a petition going.
Yeah, we'll hand out anything, won't we?
Yeah, we will. So, you know what? We just switched over to warm-up. I want to take this opportunity. Last week, I wanted to bring a video to you. We had some technical difficulties. We believe we got it figured out this time. It's about 2 minutes long. So we're going to take a quick break here in the broadcast booth, and we're going to just show you this video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy it. And thanks goes to Mr. Ben Park for that wonderful, wonderful GTR2 video. So we're back at the track. About 2 minutes left in warm-up. So what do you think, Jack? Any predictions tonight?
No, none at all. It's just way too close for me to call. You know what? I'm going to say any one of these top 15 drivers has a chance at winning this race tonight. It's that close.
It is that close. Any one of the top 15 have a legitimate shot, eh?
Well, you know what? We saw some double stint last Monday night. You know, the scuttlebutt, you know, in the paddocks was look for a double stint again tonight for some of the drivers. We know that, you know, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. We talked about the hot conditions of the track. We also have a chance of rain here tonight. So, man, you just throw caution to the wind here. You know, we got some guys up there that we don't usually see up there at the front. You know, boy, we got Schubeck and Meyer starting up near the front. Anything can happen.
Yeah, boy, you're not kidding. Anything can happen around here at any GP for sure. So I think I have to agree with you. It's going to be hard to pick a potential winner here tonight, especially after having seen what we saw for pole.
Yeah, you know, we know if David Poole can get away, you know, and get some clean track to put down some hot laps, you know, he may get an early gap. But we got so many sneaky guys come pit rotation time that, man, you're going to need to put a big gap on a guy in front of you because you're going to need it come pit time.
No kidding. No kidding. So we got about 15 seconds left of warm-up right now, and most of the guys are pulling into the pits, practicing their pits. Aaron Parsons and Chris Moses, John Houston.
Hey, Kent, we didn't talk about it. Is there anything we should watch on pit entrance or exit?
Well, interestingly enough, I think pit exit is probably a little bit easier at this track because the racing line is so far to the left of it that as you come out of the pit, as you come out of pit, you're giving the racers that are already on the track ample room and ample opportunity to get by you. Not only that, it is a wide area of the track, so all you got to do is check that rear view mirror. If you see somebody, just stay to the right. Pit entrance now. That's a little bit tricky. I've seen some guys here tonight kind of toast it on the pit entrance, especially if they lose some of that precious traction going into pit road. So it's going to be hard to control if you're coming in as a hot shoe.
Well, we saw some hijinks last week at Anna. One of our drivers, I'll save him give him the courtesy of not mentioning his name, had to drive backwards down that pit lane entrance to make it in. Oh, it just switched over, and we've got the wet track.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got 57 wet, 54 ambient. Conditions are thunder showers, forecast for thunder showers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it go flooded, but you know what? We're going to start running them down, starting from pole, David Poole. Second, Matt Taylor. Ryan Schleif in third. John Ludden in fourth. And Alex Scott in fifth. Way to go, Alex.
Andrew Werner in sixth. John Wathen in seventh. Thomas Schubeck in eighth. Greg Myers in ninth. And Mike Trussler in 10th.
Jonathan Cuppet will start 11th. Al Merriman in 12th. Ian Jolicoeur will start in 13th, Marty Uren 14th, and Bjorn Heyman in 15th.
Sam Rolfe, good to see you back, Sam, in 16th. Brad Maris is sub in 17. Gup Douglas in 18th. Aaron Parsons in 19th, and Connor Swain in 20th.
Yes, sir. And David Canavan will start 21st. Mike Greatrix in 22nd. Johnny McIntyre 23rd, Kreshnik Khalili 24th, Sergio Calderon in 25th.
My old buddy Johnny Lugnut's in 26th, John Houston in 27th, Jared Keene in 28th, and Chris Moses in 29.
So 29 drivers. It's a pretty decent turnout considering the track conditions just kind of went to the crapper, if you will. But man, oh man. That's going to be something.
Well, I'll tell you, I know how to call it. And I told you, any one of these top 15 drivers can win it, and now it is a wide open. It's a completely different race.
It is a completely different race. You know, the rain at times can be the great equalizer around some of these tracks that we run. We're about to go green here. We are on board with David Poole. Lights are coming on. And they're off. David Poole. Matt Taylor holding on to that second spot.
It is all bunching up at the back here for turn one.
Yep, we are cycling through the field.
Oh, we've got lots of problems back here.
Yep, some guys are getting a little over aggressive here. Calm down, drivers, calm down. There is still 89 minutes of racing left to go.
Yeah, Brad Maris got caught out. I didn't quite catch what happened, but two or three of the cars got all mixed up at the back there.
Ian Jolicoeur with a big slide, followed by Marty Uren and Al Merriman now dropping back to 11th. Took it a little wide. Bjorn Heyman in 12th, battling closely with Jonathan Cupp at Aaron Parsons and David Canavan. Followed by Gup Douglas, Connor Swain, Chris Moses, Mike Graytrix up to 19th. Sam Rolfe in 20th, and he is being hounded by Ryan Schleif. Brad Maris, as you said, with some type of an issue, further drops back to 22nd. Sergio Calderon, Johnny McIntyre, John Houston, and Kreshnik Halili with an aggressive move on the outside. Boy, Andrew...
They are getting themselves spaced out. We've already lost one.
Andrew Werner drops all the way back to 28th. Not exactly sure. He might have a puncture. Seems to be trying to make his way around the track real slow. He is into the pits. Andrew Werner into the pits. And he is probably coming in for some repairs.
The car doesn't look too bad from pit row, but we'll keep an eye on Andrew.
So David Poole just kind of coasting out there right now. Matt Taylor not too far behind. I think Matt Taylor at this point is just happy coasting around in second and saying, you know what, David, I'm just going to follow your line around this track because it's probably the surest and the safest way to get around and keep my position.
Well, I don't know if he's going to keep it for long because John Ludden has got him in his sights, but they've got a good gap between the three of them, so you're right. They're probably trying to find a little bit of dry track. Greg Myers has moved his way up to 4th position, though.
Excellent on Greg. Yep, I see that. We just jumped on the chase cam with Greg Myers as he's got Ludden and Taylor up in his sights up ahead, so probably just trying to keep it clean.
Alex Scott just had a little bit of a moment and let Mike Trussler go through, and Schubeck is now all over the back of him and having a look on the inside.
And boy, I got to tell you, Alex Scott is running that car real low to the ground. It is sparking up on every corner. Thomas Schubeck with a look on the outside of Alex Scott. Oh.
Alex Scott and Mike Trussler. They both went by Trussler. Oh, and it's jamming up at the corner there.
Oh, shoot.
Side. So Alex is really giving up. Alex has given up 3 or 4 spots in the course of one lap. So definitely not working on the greatest wet setup there.
No, probably not. Either that or he's just backing it off, thinking to himself that he does not want to get too tangled up with other cars. It's a long race. It's 90 minutes, and it might be wet the entire way. I think pit strategies might have to play into this now. Oh, Tom Schubeck taking it off the track.
And guess who's going to pass him? Now that is from last position. From last position, Chris Moses is now up to P10.
I think Chris found the turbo, the NOS button.
Well, you know, but I've been watching that Schubeck. Man, oh man, I think he's running nitrous in that Aston. Chris taking it way wide. Oh, hang on, Chris. A little bump in the wall there. Parsons behind him. Gup Douglas in that 4A too. 10, 11, 12. Gup on the outside. Going to take Parsons on the outside. And just sails right by in that Ferrari. Aaron back on the inside.
Yep, we are with that battle right now. But it looks like advantage is going to go to Gup Douglas as he takes the faster line around that corner. There's still tons of great racing out here. David Canavan all over Connor Swain's tail. Connor Swain running in P13. David Canavan P14 driving the Lister Storm, looking for a way around Connor. And Chris Moses in P15. Oh, we've got one of the Marty Uren having having a situation there in turn number 6.
Yeah, Marty dropped all the way down to P17.
On the chase cam with Sergio Calderon, P20 right now. All sorts of damage to the back of that Lister Storm. Somebody got into the back of him real good.
Yeah, you know, it's surprising. You go behind him, you've got Sam Rolfe, Ryan Schleif, and Brad Maris. I mean, you know, 21, 22, 23. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? So Brad Maris going to take a look on the inside as they go down the front straightaway here into turn 1. Schleif with the better line, but yep, I figured that he was just going to let him go deep into the braking zone, so Brad Maris gets the advantage, picks up a spot there, P22.
Johnny Lugnut's in for a tire change. He must have been out on hards and decided with the cold temperatures, probably couldn't get any heat in the tires, gone in for softs.
Mikey Graytrix dropping 2 spots down to P24. As he comes around turn 2, and it looks like his setup is not favoring the wet stuff on the track as he lights up the tires and it just wants to come around on him. Kreshna Khalili, P25. John Wathen, who was having a superb qualifying race all the way back in P26 right now.
You know, talking about keeping it smooth, David Poole has got a 5-second lead over Matt Taylor.
Yep, we just jumped on board with our race leaders. Followed not too far behind by Matt Taylor and then John Ludden. But look at this. Gregory Myers now starting to make some small inroads to P3 John Ludden. Can't help but think he might want to...
Yeah, they're not small inroads. He is actually gaining on him quite quickly as I watch the lap timings go by. As we can see now, as he's pulled right up behind him. So Gregory, you know, very smooth driver. One of my favorite drivers. You know, actually, I got to say it right now, Greg. You are my favorite NAGP driver. He is so smooth and consistent. Man, boy, oh boy.
Look for the upstart of the Greg Myers fan club.
Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you this much. He's improved tremendously. And he's a former champion.
He's always there. There is some great racing going on. Al Merriman just went by Connor Swain like he was standing still. Al now to P15.
Connor Swain probably just thinking twice about it. Jonathan Cuppett looking on the inside of Connor Swain. Great racing going on, folks. Well, and Jonathan Cuppett having to check up on... He had to check up because Connor Swain just kind of slowed down in that last turn complex there.
Well, temperature's gone up just marginally from 58 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but it is still stone cold out there. And boy, they got a lot of racing left.
Chris Moses picking up another couple of spots up to P12. Gup Douglas in 11th. Aaron Parsons up to P10. And he is looking all over Ian Jolicoeur saying, I want by. Give me some room. Ian Jolicoeur, no slouch, takes the inside line back away from Aaron Parsons.
Wow, I was surprised at that move that he could actually pull that one off.
Gup Douglas looking to get in on some of this action, saying, go ahead and fight it out, boys. We're in the rain.
Yeah, you know, and that Ferrari, no slouch, has got some great legs to it, too.
That it does. And considering that these boys are carrying some serious weight, I have to give the advantage to Gup Douglas with only 88 pounds. Oh, nearly touches Jolicoeur.
You know, I did hear, you know, one time, you know, some of these guys are, you know, pretty forthcoming with all their tips of the trade. Sometimes not, but I did hear someone mention one time that the added weight in the rain wasn't as bad as it would be on a dry track. So anybody out there that's watching got any comments about that, throw them up there on the chat line.
Yeah, I can't help but imagine that they're right. You know what? It adds the weight, which translates into grip.
Yeah, and they are going to be moving a little slower too.
Keep at it, Gup. You may be the benefactor of all that weight on those cars. Just keep it there. Keep it together.
Yeah, you know, David Poole is turning, you know, 133s pretty much consistently. Matt Taylor turning 134s. John Lennon 134s, but John just turned in a 133 as well. So that looks like about the pace there. Greg Myers just turned in a 133. So they might be finding a little bit more grip out there on the track, but it is still raining.
Raining, conditions are rainy, and the forecast is rainy. Don't know if we're going to ever go dry in this one. It's a possibility, but doesn't look that way.
No, looking at those mountains in the distance, we might even have snow.
Take out the snow tires.
So, Schubeck sitting in 8th. Nice race by Schub so far. Hang on there, Thomas. But, you know, you go a little farther back, you know, you got, whoa, Jolicoeur, big slide. And that let Gup Douglas up behind him. And Chris Moses right behind, ready to pounce.
Oh, here comes Gup. Gonna take a look on the inside. Goes deep into the braking zone. Does he have enough to keep it on track? No.
And he's forced Chris Moses and Marty Uran off too.
Oh boy, he done started some stuff. Boy, look at this.
Now David Canavan is joining the fight. We got
four cars going. Ooh.
Oh man.
Wow.
And you know, you don't have to leave the door open for an Irishman, and he'll be coming in and saying, "I'll have a drink of that whiskey as well."
So, on board with Marty Uran, P14, having a look on the inside of David Canavan, trying to make it stick. It looks like he'll get it done.
Yeah, good one. Very well done, Marty.
Well, I got to tell you, we've lost a few of them here by attrition. We are now down to 25 running cars out of 29, so we have lost 4 by attrition. Unfortunately, boy, I'm just following John Wathen around. He's in P25, last of the running cars. He's already a lap down. You know, not exactly sure if the rain is the thorn in his side, so to speak. But man, from having done.
Gup Douglas is off. Marty Uren is now taking P11. Moses gets by as well.
Gup Douglas all over Chris Moses. Going to try this once again. Does he have enough to keep it on track? Oh, and Moses.
Contact.
Moses giving him the chrome horn.
Now, look at this. Oh, my goodness. And there goes both of them. Al Merriman and Chris Moses right by Gup Douglas.
Well, they threaded the needle for Gup. Or unthreaded it in this case.
Man, there's a lot of action going out here. Oh, boy. These guys don't seem like they mind swapping paint at this point. And you know who's watching all this action right behind them is this Connor Swain, and he's saying, just have at her, boys. I'm closing.
Not too far behind Connor, however, is John Houston in that very powerful Viper. And John Houston just kind of sitting back there like a sleeper. Biding his time, like the Viper, waiting to snap, waiting to bite. Now, Brad Maris and John McIntyre in a very, very close battle for P18 right now. So, Aston Martin versus Ferrari.
There are battles going on all over the place. I don't know how we're going to keep up with this one tonight, Ken. P3, John Ludden is pressing like a madman, you know, to get up to Matt Taylor, but Matt's just trying to keep it smooth, and so far he's holding them off, but it's going to heat up later on.
Yeah, no doubt. So David Poole right now putting on a rain clinic out tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, is David Poole carrying any weight tonight? He is 44 pounds, only 44 pounds. Yeah, that's not too bad for that Ford GT.
And like we said, it'd be interesting to see, you know, if these guys think that it's an advantage. They're probably going to say no, it's never an advantage.
Yeah, but Ludden is starting to make that gap between he and Matt Taylor kind of disappear.
Yeah, you know, it looks like Ludden has got a little bit of pace, but, you know, every time he gets close and tries to push it, there's just not enough grip out there.
That, not to mention that, again, this is pretty much a high-speed track. This has got some fairly decent straights, and that's where that Saleen will outshine that McLaren is on these long straights, as we see that Matt Taylor's. But Greg Myers right there. Greg Myers right there. Not too far behind.
Yeah, you know, I was watching Greg, and very smooth on the lines, eh? Very soft on the wheel, so that could help him out, you know, with keeping it smooth and keeping the lap times consistent.
Whoa, a bit of a slide there by Matt Taylor, trying to get on the throttle a little too hard. That was coming out of turn 2. Boy, I tell you, that turn is just wicked. Oh, and John Ludden will slide and spin it. That will give P3 to Greg Myers.
Yeah, Ludden is dropping like a stone. He's down to P7 now.
And Greg Myers says, I will take it.
Nice.
Oh, not good, not good. He's still off track.
Yeah, he's out of the race line, and he just can't get his grip back in. It looks like he's got some severe damage there, too.
Yeah, he's got the right front of that car smashed to bits. Wow.
And the right rear.
And the right rear, yep. That can't help around this track, Jack.
No, not in these conditions. You know, I thought I was watching it. He was pushing just maybe just a little too hard. And all he really needed to do was, you know, keep it smooth. Keep it smooth.
Well, it gives the advantage to Ian Jolicoeur, Marty Uren, Mike Trussler, Aaron Parsons, Schubeck, Bjorn Heyman up to 5th, man. Bjorn having a great race. Just gives Alex Scott the old door handle and says, "Get out my way." That gives an opportunity to one of the back markers to kind of unlap themselves. I believe that's John Wathen.
Yeah, and I'm just watching something a little farther back. You know, we've got two old nemesis working each other. And now, Canavan has lost it and nosed it into the wall. I was just going to mention Chris Moses and Canavan, going nose to tail, and something we've seen in previous seasons many times before. But poor old David has lost it. He's only lost one spot, though.
PMR Racing running 12th and 13th.
Still, I got to. Yeah, his car doesn't even have a scratch on it.
So I want to talk about Gregory Myers. Gregory Myers has inherited the P3 spot and now is just quietly sticking like Velcro to the bumper of Matt Taylor. Not pushing the issue. Yeah, he's not pushing the issue. He's not driving overly aggressive. He's just biding his time from what it looks like here and says, if I apply enough pressure, something has got to give.
Yeah, I don't think tire wear is going to come into this at all. It's 60 degrees track temperature, 54 ambient. If this is Greg's pace, this is Greg's pace, and Greg will be able to keep with it. And he is all over the back of that car now.
David Poole, your race leader, with a 16-second lead over second place Matt Taylor.
Taylor, with a moment, Greg Myers taking the position away.
Now, let's do this. Gregory Myers up in P2, lap times of around 134, has dipped into the 133s. David Poole, a constant 133. I gotta say, Greg Myers has got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. If Poole can keep it clean, and it looks like he is. I mean, it looks like David's just running. Clean, consistent laps. I mean, it's all about consistency. Brad talks about that all the time. But what is the fuel consumption rate like on these two cars? Who's going to need more fuel time? It may come down to, can Gregory eat into that? Greg with a moment there.
Yep, I see that. Matt Taylor taking a look on the inside. And Matt Taylor taking over the P2 spot momentarily. Let's see how they go into this braking zone. Matt Taylor leaving Greg Myers some of that room in the event that Myers felt that he wanted to go deep into the brake zone, but Greg Myers just keeping it smooth. Now, this...
Well, they don't have, not too far back, we've got Heyman, Scott, and Schubeck and Scott are just, it looks like Heyman is...
Yeah, we just gave him the broadcaster's curse. I just put my camera on him, and he spins it out.
Well, that puts Alex Scott into fourth, but Schubeck is all over him like white on rice.
Yep, watching that battle right now for P4. Great battle for P2 still. Greg Myers having lost that spot, but he's not letting Matt Taylor get too far ahead.
No, there's racing going on all over the place. We've got, I don't know how to pick them. 18th, McIntyre and Douglas are fighting it out. Houston, Jolicoeur, Canavan, and Merriman, and Brad Maris are fighting it out. Ludden and Moses are fighting it out. Marty Huron, Bjorn Heyman, Aaron Parsons. We knew it was going to be close. I just didn't think it was going to be this much action all the way around.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Ryan Schleif in P21 chasing down sliding Kreshnik Halili as, oh, Halili puts it into the barrier and puts it sideways and says, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And Halili's gone.
Now back out in front, it looks like Greg Myers has maybe settled down just a little bit because Matt Taylor started to gap him. So maybe Greg has said, that was my goal. I got to keep it smooth. I'll catch back up on the next mistake.
Wathen taking it off track to let one of the Salines by. Wathen currently running in 24th. Last of the running cars.
Well, I'm telling you right now, these guys up front, Matt Taylor and Greg Myers, had better watch their bumpers because Thomas Schubeck, who is on a virtual tear, is coming like a freight train. And that Aston just seems to have so much power here.
Indeed it does. Not to mention a lot of grip as well. So, oh, Matt Taylor taking it wide. And Matt Taylor taking it off. Gonna hand Ps 2 and 3 to Gregory Myers and Schubeck. I can't help but think.
You know,
go ahead.
It is so slippery offline that as soon as these guys get off, they just have to back right off.
Tires, even though we're only working, I think it's lap 17 right now, might be coming into play early on here. We're scheduled for 58 laps. I don't think we're going to make it that far, but...
No, you know, I think that just my own thought there, Ken, I may be way wrong, but I think as soon as they get off the driving line, it's going to be greasier than all get out.
I agree. Just looking at Matt Taylor, however, it looks like his car is starting to develop a bit of a push. And he has got Aaron Parsons all over his bumper. So Matt Taylor, having lost the edge, it looks like, here at the A1-Ring, now succumbing to the pressure of a hard-charging Aaron Parsons, who is right behind him.
Well, you know, we've all encountered that before at some point where, you know, you have a little bit of a bobble. And, you know, for myself, it takes, you know, quite a bit of time to settle back down again and get back into the rhythm. And maybe Matt's suffering a little bit of that. He's had, Parsons had to check up sideways.
Yep, I saw that. Boy, we caught it on the broadcast. Sorry, Aaron. That'll give P6 to Marty Uren. Bjorn Heyman now taking over P5. Just kind of cruises on by Matt Taylor. Bjorn is having... Go ahead.
Yeah, I am wondering if Matt is checked up a little bit to let Parsons by. Maybe not, but geez, Matt, you might be right. Matt might be suffering from some car tire problems or some setup problems.
Yep, hard to tell at this point. He was very strong in the opening laps. It seems that the saline is starting to fall off, so the setup may just not be conducive to a long run here. And now he's got Marty Uren taking all kinds of looks inside.
Well, Marty had just put it off the track.
And Marty on the inside trying to take a look. Two salines. But boy, oh! What happened there? Oh, Matt Taylor off the racing track. He is like out of the stadium. Hit that reset button.
He's in 14th. Foot on the brake, Matt. He's out. He's out.
He's out of the racing. He's out of the racing area. Yep, he's done. He parked it. Bad luck, Matt. So sorry. Mike Graytrix into the pits, more than likely for a tire change.
Well, Mikey had it off on the track too. He might need a tire.
Looks like David Poole coming up on the back of Sergio Calderon.
Boy, and Matt was having such a great race too.
Absolutely. But you know what? It's like we say, Jack, rain is the great equalizer around here.
Well, apparently so.
It makes the
You know, but
it may
some of the guys must have practiced for it. I mean, Schubeck put in some smoking practice and some smoking qualifying laps, and so did Greg Myers. So they must have practiced in the rain. Either that or they've got a great setup for this wet track because they're running 2 and 3 right now.
and listen, not to be belittled. Bjorn Heyman, fantastic run, P4, and he's doing it in the rain.
Yeah, and just a little farther back there, you know, we've got John Ludden, Chris Moses. Chris has run from the back of the pack, and I mean the back of the pack. I started the race on board with Chris. Right from the back, he is now in P7 with John Ludden in P8, trying to make moves on him. But Alex Scott's not far behind them either. Boy, those Astons are fast on the straight.
Boy, I'll tell you, up to P18, they're having some really good battles going on there. Johnny Mack in 15th, David Canavan in 16th, Connor Swain in 17th, Gup Douglas in 18th. These guys are almost freight training it around this track right now.
Yeah, and you know your leaders have started going through, some lap traffic, and we've got Greg Myers coming up to lap traffic. I think that's Mikey Graytrix, and he has got Thomas Schubeck in the catbird position right behind him, just waiting for Greg to make a mistake. But you know what? Greg doesn't make many mistakes, so Thomas, you're just gonna have to bide your time here. Yeah, and as you mentioned, Bjorn Heyman. Bjorn is just running he's got Marty not far behind, but Bjorn's running a beautiful race tonight.
He is running a fantastic race tonight. Jumping on board with the boss man, Al Merriman's got the right side and the right front of that car smashed to pieces. Can't be helping his mission out here tonight.
He's got Brad Maris and Alex Scott in his sights, so he's got a mission set out for himself.
John Ludden looking to put the moves on Chris Moses. Chris Moses having none of that. Aaron Parsons up in 6th. Marty Urin gets by Aaron, it looks like, for P5. And Marty having all sorts of tire problems as well. He went around turn number 2 really slow, and it took him a while to get on the throttle.
Well, we know Parsons is, carrying all that baggage has got to have some acceleration, problems here. Oh, and Marty loses it.
Yep, and it'll, oh wow. So they were battling for 4th. No, hang on, where is Marty? Where is he?
He is in 10th right now. He has dropped all the way down to 10th.
Oh, so sorry that we missed that then.
Well, it's just as I thought. As soon as they get off that race line, they just can't get back on the track. It's just so slippery. They've got to literally creep back in. And the racing here is so tight tonight that it has cost them, 6 positions.
Yeah, and now he's got the boss man, Al Merriman, in the Panos GT1 car right behind them. Al, no doubt, probably wanting that P10 position, to be running within the top 10.
And get up a little farther up. We got Alex Scott. Oh, he's jumping Brad Maris.
Yep, we are on board with them. We're looking at that. They just
went by Chris Moses.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. At the turn 1 complex, and now here they are. Oh, Alex Scott!
Oh! Marty T-bones Alex in the corner there.
Ouch. That's got to be painful.
Alex, 16, 17. 8, Alex parked it.
He parked it. Yep, he parked it. Oh, that is so unfortunate.
One mistake, that's all it takes.
It's true. Connor Swain running in the last points paying position. David Canavan in P15. Oh, John Houston with an off. Gives that spot over to Canavan. Ian Jolicoeur running 12th. Trussler in 11th. Uren in 10th. Merriman in 9th and Moses in 8th. Maris in 7th now. Ludden gets up to 6th. Parsons is up to 5th. Bjorn still running in 4th. Shubes still running in 3rd. And he's just like hounding Greg Meyer. He's looking on the inside as they approach, what's this, the turn number 2.
Yeah, you know that in the straight line there, that Aston just eats up that Lamborghini. But you know, I got to say, you know, Shubes is really closing in on Greg Myers. But you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the smartest drivers out on the track. They've basically driven a pretty smooth race and done a great job. Now, you know, you got the wonder from down under. Aaron Parsons is now in 5th. And, 6 is a mess, 7's a mess. Who we got off there? Looks like
Gub Douglas in the pits.
And it's a mess out there. Holy jumping. Schleif has got himself turned around. Can he get out?
Oh, Greg Myers is now starting to run into the 133s. Schubeck also running the 133s. And David Poole has slowed into the 134s for 5 laps now. So, interesting as we are working lap number 23. So we're coming up close to the pit window here, Jack.
Well, you know, it's just as I suspected. I'm sitting on board with poor old Ryan Schleif right now. He's back at P17. It has taken him probably the better bit of a minute to get off the grass.
You know, I don't want to be the one to be starting any rumors, but you know, I just took a look at Bjorn Heyman. He has been quietly closing the gap to P3, Thomas Schubeck.
Well, like I mentioned, I think these top 4 drivers are the smartest guys out there tonight. They're just driving smooth and steady. Whoa,
oh, Bjorn! What the heck happened there?
Just put off.
One of the listers, I think it wasn't Aaron. I don't know. That had to be Sergio Calderon.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It is Calderon. Geez, Bjorn, that didn't look good.
No, it didn't at all. I'm wondering if he could even see him.
Well, I don't think he's driving with blinders on, for God's sake. He just pushed him right off the track. You got some splaining to do, Bjorn.
Yeah, you got some splaining to do to us. I think we're going to grab him and pull him up in here in the broadcast booth. Careful there. Karma can be quite a painful experience here on the broadcast.
Well, still a great battle for P2. You know, David Poole is putting on a bit of a rain clinic, as you said. 20 seconds, you know, out in front of Greg Myers. Greg just trying to keep it smooth. You know, Greg's turning 134s, which, you know, is right in there with David Poole. But David Poole's, you know, 20 laps at 133 has put him out, you know, 20 seconds out in front.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Track temp's gone up a little bit, but just a 63. I don't think it's enough to get us some drier conditions, but Hard to tell at this point if we are getting any, if it is getting any drier out there.
I don't think so, Jack. To be honest with you, I mean, you look at them clouds, they are black. Them skies are black.
Yeah, and the rain is still coming down pretty good.
John McIntyre and John Houston having a battle of their own for P13 right now. Looks like this one might be shaping up a little bit. Maybe within the next half a lap. John Houston, smooth through that last corner, gets a little bit of a run on John McIntyre. Not going to get it done for turn one. But John Houston running all sorts of smooth through these turns. And the Ferrari clearly with a little bit of extra oomph down the straights.
Well, we got a little bit of a battle brewing. They're trying to take shape here with over P7 with Ludden and Moses. You know Chris is going to try and take that spot away from him. But running 8 and 9 is Moses and Merriman, and that's going to play out well for team championship points.
That it will. Indeed it will. John Ludden taking a little bit wide on the last sweeper, but gets back on to P7. Brad Maris up in P6 and Aaron Parsons P5. Bjorn still in P4. Boy, I'm still wondering what Bjorn may have been thinking, just running into the back of Calderon like that. That'll probably be a timestamp submission. And boy, I gotta tell you, should they agree, that might cost them.
You know what? I think he might have just run up quicker than he thought he was on him, and you know, just got caught off by such a fast closing rate. But that's what we have the CC for.
Doesn't look like he slowed down, Jack.
Well, that's just two guys' opinions.
That's it. So, oh boy. So Chris Moses 8, Al Merriman in 9th. They are running great. And like you said, that's got to be great for team championship points. Mike Trussler in 10.
Yeah. Yeah, Trussler and Joliker running pretty much their own race, but a little just behind them is McIntyre and Houston.
Canavan gets caught in the kitty litter, cannot get his car out. Spinning his tires, spinning. And he decides to park it.
You know, I mentioned that earlier before the show that with the kitty litter around here, if we got wet conditions, these guys just won't get out of it. They can't get out.
You called it, and we saw it.
But it just looks so slippery offline.
One of the Ferraris into the pits right now. John Wathen sliding.
McIntyre takes a DNF.
Oh man, McIntyre was running up there with who was he running with? He was running with Gup Douglas, I believe, for position. Or one of them guys.
Wathen and McIntyre were at it, so I don't know what happened. Now, Bjorn Heyman is running in 4th, 26 seconds behind our leader. 28 seconds behind is Aaron Parsons, and 29 seconds behind is Brad Maris. So, Bjorn maybe keeping it smooth, which he has been, and keeping his nose clean, which he has been, other than that little faux pas.
He's into the pits.
But, well, it might not be such a bad move then, because he was going to start to come under pressure from Brad Maris and Aaron Parsons, and those are two guys that you don't want to be pushed around by. You know, and I don't mean in a mean way, but just they would definitely put pressure on him. Yep, they're halfway, so we can look for more guys coming into the pits.
Yeah, no doubt they will be coming in now. So the pit window is open. Oh! John Houston almost getting rear-ended by a Ferrari. And that Ferrari looks to be a lap down. Ian Jolicoeur spins it in turn number 2.
Well, they've definitely got their hands full out there tonight. Bjorn is taking tires. So Bjorn, the first one.
Looks like Ludden might be off.
He has spun it.
Ludden with a bad spin drops back down to 9th.
But off the track, back off onto the track. If that makes any sense at all, didn't make any sense to me. But it's just been so tough to get the cars back rolling again.
Yes, indeed. So we have some folks that came into the pits. Chris Moses up to 6th, and Al Merriman in 7th. Brad Maris up to 5th, and Parsons in 4th now. Schubeck still running in 3rd. And Gregory Myers still running in 2nd. David Poole still out there, has not pitted yet. Let's take a look at some of these times here. He's 14 seconds over Greg Myers. Hang on 1 second. Wow. So David's Poole last lap was a 1:35.
Yeah, they are losing time. He is losing time. Because Greg Myers is now putting in a 1:33s. Greg is down to 1:33.
Yeah, 1:33 ones. And every time he got...
Look at Schubeck. Schubeck is turning 1:33 flats. In fact, his last lap was a 1:32.997.
Yes, sirree. Boy, so some of these guys going faster as they lose the weight of the fuel. Maybe their cars are balancing out a little bit better.
You know, still a lot of spray, still a lot of reflection on the track. So there's still a lot of water out there. It is still very, very slick, very dangerous out there.
Really just cannot believe the race that some of these folks are having tonight.
Well, I'm on board with Schubeck, and boy, he is like all over the tailpipe of Gregory Myers.
And now we've got a close battle for P4. Brad Maris all over Aaron Parsons. And it looks like a saline came between Myers and Schubeck. Is that Mike Greatrix?
Yeah, and that's given Greg a little bit of breathing room, as Schubeck had a little bit of a good look on the in.
Wow. And your race leader, David Poole, into the pits, nearly loses it.
Yeah, boy, he was coming in pretty quick, too. So, it is going to be interesting because we Poole, and we've got Greg Myers, Schubeck, and Bjorn Heyman. So, it's going to be interesting to see where David comes out in relation to Bjorn.
Well, Bjorn Heyman is all the way back right now in 12th. And he is at the front end of the track. So, oh, Bjorn Heyman with an off.
Yeah, he spun it.
That's not going to help him getting his position back. He was running in P4 before going into the pits. He's currently in 12th. He may gain a position or two, but not with spins like that. Got to settle back down.
And David Poole is up on the jack, so David's taking tires, obviously, as lap times are going down.
Aaron Parsons takes it off track, and he's in the kitty litter. Luckily, rolls it back down onto the track surface. So, looks like these tires are starting to give way, and it's getting quite slick out there.
Yeah, and David Poole is back out. And Roland Heyman's down to 12th. We still got a lot of rotations to go through.
Well, your race leader, Gregory Myers, stays out, and Tom Schubeck will follow suit.
Yeah, you know, Schubeck is probably going to try and time this out to go in at the same time Myers does. I don't know if the Aston's going to take less fuel than the Lambo, but we will soon see. But you know, with Schubeck's lap times, he's not losing time here.
Nope, he's not. We're on board with your current race leader, Greg Myers. Greg getting a little squirrely. Coming into turn 4 now. Long left-handed sweeper that just does not seem to end, especially when you're running in the rain.
You know, currently sitting in P3, we've got Brad Maris currently in P3. Moses all behind him at Parsons, so 3, 4, 5. You know, that final podium position is still being contested.
Myers is in the pits, and Schubeck is going to follow. So now Brad Maris, who has not pitted, coming onto the front straightaway past the start-finish line, now going to go ahead and inherit that lead. And we'll have to give it right back once he comes into the pit. And
we got Parsons and Moses in. Schleif is in the pits as well. David Poole going around the start-finish line.
Yep, and he will retake the lead. And Gregory Myers is off. He's coming out in P5, but the pit rotations have not finished, so we should see him get back up to P2, P3 at most, and then have to battle it out. But Thomas Schubeck is also away. Oh, Chris Moses is away now. John Houston stays out. He's in P11. Going to pick up a spot. Bjorn Heyman in 12th. So this was supposed to work in Bjorn's favor, but, you know, having slid off the track and having some poor lap times after his pit is not helping his cause. He's up in P11 right now.
Well, no, he's going to pick out, he's going to get his spots back. Al's in the pits now. We've got Ian to get back into the pits. He's going to get some spots back, but I don't think it's going to be as healthy as he thought it was going to be.
I don't think so, but I will tell you this. Some of his lap times, he's dipping into the 132s. He has dipped into the 132 flat, then a 132.9, but he had that inconsistent 144 right there in the middle, so not helping at all. We're down to 19 running cars. David Poole back up to the lead. Now, Gregory Myers up to P2. And Thomas Schubeck should be getting right back up there into P3.
Now David Poole's...
Jack, you cut out there. What was that?
David Poole's lead was over 20 seconds, but now it's only 8.8 seconds over Greg Myers.
So, interesting development, right? We're going to have to see how this plays out. There's still a lot of water on that track. Don't see it going away, and the skies are still black. But Gregory Myers seems to be wanting to perhaps challenge for that lead. But we'll have to see how it works out, because right now, David Poole might be taking a look up at his XD and seeing that lead dwindle and starting to push, because now it's up to 9.3 seconds.
Okay, interesting development here. We've got...
Gregory Myers spins it.
And that's allowed Schubeck to catch back up again. But, you know, tire selection here. Tire selection. Greg spun it again. And whoa! Schubeck had to take evasive action.
Oh boy. And that is a clear indication that Gregory Myers took on the wrong tires. Get it back into the pits as quickly as you can. Get them tires changed there, buddy.
Now I'm wondering, is the damp track, is that an inter tire now? These guys going on inters?
I don't know if they went to inters, but I will tell you this. Gregory Myers has pulled it into the pits. He is going to take on a second tire change. We'll stay right here with him for a second, see if he gets that car up on the jacks quickly. And then here's the thing. This long, agonizing pit road, he's all the way at the front.
Is for sure.
And he's up on the jack. So yeah, he took the wrong set of tires. And you know, it would have been hard for him to determine, was the track already damp or did it go damp after the tire change? So
I was watching there, Ken, and I think it went damp during all that rotation, during the rotation. So you know, just a call you got to make.
Well, now Chris Mose is in P3, coming under all sorts of pressure from Marty Uren in P4.
Again, tire selection may be the determining factor here on who's going to end up on the podium. Although I can say that you know, David Poole is got his 20-second lead back over Thomas Schubeck now that Greg has had to pull it in for more tire service.
That's a heartbreaker. That is an absolute heartbreaker. So Al Merriman in P5, Brad Maris now up to 6th, John Houston up to 7th, and Bjorn Heyman up to 8th. Now, did John Houston pit? I know these Vipers are capable of going quite a long way without pitting.
No, he pitted.
Yep, he did pit about maybe 6 or 7 laps ago with a 238, so he did pit.
Talking about pits, Jonathan Cuppett into the pits looking for a tire change.
Yeah, Jonathan Cuppett, unfortunately 2 laps down after having such a great qualifying run. Mike Greatrix, 1 out of the points right now in P17. Sergio Calderon, last points paying position right now in P16.
Well, he's just been. No, I'm sorry. I thought he was being overtaken, but he's not.
John Ludden relegated to 13th right now. Gregory Myers in 12th. And it seems that Greg has got his mojo back because he's coming through those turns hot and furious.
Yeah, you know, he had a bad lap after his pit, so he definitely took the wrong tires, and we'll look for Greg to pull up from that P12, absolutely.
Yep, I'm certainly hoping so because we're working lap 37. So you got to figure more or less about 18 to 20 laps still left to go.
Well, interesting enough, I was just taking a look at the lap times there, and Schubeck is actually turning faster laps than David Poole right now. But, you know, David Poole, the consummate professional, you know he's watching his XD, he's watching his lap times, he knows what's going on there.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. So everybody has kind of gotten themselves spaced out. No one really within striking distance. Probably the closest battle on track right now between John Houston and Brad Maris. And that is a 3-second affair.
Well, you were right about Greg Myers. He just turned in his fastest lap of the race. So, bad turn of events for Greg. He was running such a great first stint there, you know, battling out with Schubeck for that entire stint. And, you know, a couple of bad, you know, moves by the leaders up there, you know, is shaking things up. But, you know, we now have Poole, Schubeck, Moses, 1, 2, 3.
Schubeck has run a brilliant race to this point.
Yeah, he definitely did. He qualified well. We've got a driver off. That looked like a Ferrari there. I might be wrong.
And
But,
Chris Moses currently running in third. Another brilliant race.
Yeah. From dead last to...
Oh, Urin takes it off right by one of the Ferraris.
Gup Douglas is out. That was his spun car.
That was his spun car. Yes, it was. So, boy, Brad Maris and Marty Urin now in a heated battle.
And Bjorn back in for tires.
Oh, we've got one of the PMR cars, Al Merriman. He spun it, dropped back to 6th.
Well, you know, a third and a 6th is still going to do that PMR. A lot of good out there. So,
So David Poole just about running away with this thing. Wow.
well, you know, it's very reminiscent of the first, you know, the first stint. You know, David had a 20-second lead over, you know, Greg Myers and Thomas Schubeck, and that stayed pretty stable up until pit rotation time. At which point it dropped to about 8 seconds, and unfortunately, Greg, with a you know incorrect tire choices, you know, put him out of contention for P2 here. But you know, I got to hand it to Schubeck. What a race he's having here. If he, we're running lap 39. You know, scheduled 58, but it won't go 58. It'll probably go 56 laps or so. He's just got to hang on, stick with it. He's got a 10-second lead over Chris Moses.
Yes, sirree. Chris Moses, however, running a solid third.
And boy, Chris is putting in some hot lap times right now. Chris is putting in some 1:31.2s down there. So, he's putting in some solid laps. Not quite as consistent as he needs to close that gap, though. But boy, he's putting in some good times. Back a little farther, P4, P5, we got Marty and Brad. They're duking it out again.
And Al right behind them. That's right. So Brad sandwiched in between Marty Uren and Al Merriman.
Yeah, our Monday broadcasters, folks. Brad Maris and Al Merriman. Wow, they're all lockstep right now.
So this is a great little battle forming. We're going to stick with this for a little bit here. Looks like, whoa!
On the inside.
Al turning on his lights to, I guess, indicate that he was coming through, and it looks like he's got the right tire choice because he is all over Marty Uren. Gives him a little bit of the chrome horn. Doesn't do any, does not upset Uren's car too much, but he's putting them on notice that he's right there.
Well, I'm not going to say Brad rolled over. Because that's not Brad's style. But you know what? Brad is one of the smartest guys at driving I know, and he's probably said, "Go ahead, boys. You want to duke it out, duke it out. I'll take advantage of whatever happens here." And sure, Marty's getting a little loose, a little sideways there. Al's taking that position, but Brad will just bide his time because Marty's going to go back after Al.
Yeah, he will. But boy, I got to tell you, the boss man got Uren a little shook coming out of that corner. Al's car just seems to be very strong right now.
It sure does because, boy, he has sure put a gap between himself and Brad Maris in a short period of time.
And he seems to be checking out on Uren also.
So, 3 and 4, Team PMR. Boy, they're going to love those points.
Oh, Uren spins it. Uren spins it. And now he's off in the grass. Oh, tough break for Marty Uren. So now, PMR Racing running in 3rd and 4th. That's got to be good for championship points. Marty Uren relegated back to 6th. Ian Jolicoeur in 7th. Mike Trussler running 8th. Gregory Myers in 9th. John Houston 10. Connor Swain 11. Bjorn Heyman in 12. John Ludden in 13. Sergio Calderon in 14. Ryan Schleif 15. Mike Graytrix in 16. John Wathen currently running 17th. Jonathan Cuppett in 18th. And Gup Douglas, oh, that's the end of your running cars because Gup Douglas did park it. Looks like one of the McLarens coming out of the pits. And an Aston Martin just went into the pits. Jack, did I lose you? Hello, Jack.
Kenny, can you hear me?
There you go. Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, some of the guys in the forum are just saying that my mic sounds terrible. And we'll just try and stay a little quieter from here on in.
I'm wondering if my mic may be a little too loud.
might need to fine-tune things after we get offline.
Oh, you did increase in level there. Became a little distorted. So hopefully, yeah, it looks like I think I needed to bring my mic down some. All right, so back to the action. David Poole, Thomas Schubeck, Chris Moses, Al Merriman, and Marty Uren, your top 5. And Greg Myers in P8, last of the cars running on the lead lap. So back on board with your leader, David Poole, as he rounds turn number 2.
Yep, we've got Ian Joliker running in P5 and Marty Uren in behind him in P6. So Ian has quietly made his way up to the front.
David Poole out in first with a commanding lead. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, 19 seconds to P2. Thomas.
Marty spins it. Marty spins it.
We tried to catch the spin, but we didn't quite get it.
No, he actually recovered really well. You know, the track is damp. I think we're getting a little bit more grip out there.
Yeah, well, it looks like the rain has stopped. Still very overcast, and we do still see some puddles out there, but I can't help to think that the race groove might be drying out.
Absolutely, Ken. No doubt it is drying out. You know, race times are dropping. Pulls down into the one. Schubeck holding the 132. Moses turning some good hot laps too.
Chris Moses in P3 right now. Turning in some 130. Wow, 130. So track conditions are still damp. Track temperature, however, has gone up to 74 with an ambient of 64, and quite possibly Marty Uren is in the pits, perhaps for another tire change. He was probably melting that rubber right off the rim.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Ken. Track's definitely drying out, and Marty's in for tires.
Mike Trussler quietly running in P6. Great race from Mike Trussler.
Schubeck's lead over Chris Moses is down to 5 seconds now.
Right, so Chris Moses no doubt making inroads to Thomas Schubeck. 3rd and 4, PMR Racing. And Chris Moses closing the gap really, really fast. The number 45 Pano's GT1 car. And David Poole just kind of cruising it out there. Looks like he's going a little bit slower. Going to have to check his lap times. Yeah, and yeah, well, after having run, I don't know, maybe about 8 or so laps, 7 or 8 laps in the 131s, he's dropped off a little bit over a second.
Yeah, and right behind him, Schubeck and Moses are actually, picking up the pace, and Moses especially. Moses is now within 3 seconds of Thomas Schubeck.
Yep, Moses saying, I'm a-coming.
Well, Pit Wizard has got it right this time around, and with the way he's closing the gap, he's got about maybe 8 laps left in this race. 47, we might go maybe 8 or 9 more laps. He could very well get it done here.
I don't know. I think he read the weather file before the race.
No, he's just that good. He has gone from racing twice a week down to once a week, and boy, when he puts his nose down to the grindstone, he can really get it done here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Thomas Schubeck still running in P2, but that lead over Chris Moses has nearly dwindled down to, I don't know, what is it now, 2 seconds?
2 seconds. He's picked it up a little bit, running the 132s again, but could be. Inters might be what these other guys are on.
Either that or Moses went with a slick and made the best of it, because you see that Thomas Schubeck up ahead keeps getting off of that racing line every straightaway that he can, trying to cool those tires down.
Well, very interesting late going, Ken. Schubeck with a bobble, going to give Chris a run on him.
Oh, and Chris is coming hot and furious. Going to take the inside. Oh, they touch.
Whoa, hip check.
One for old time's sake. Former teammates.
I'll tell you, he is coming fast. A little bobble by Chris. And a big bobble by Chris.
On the bonnet cam with Tom Schubeck looking out ahead at Chris Moses. Oh.
Almost got the barrier there.
Yep, and Tom Schubeck having to brake check before he ran off into the grass coming out of the last corner. Al Merriman back and forth. Ian Jolicoeur, Mike Trussler. Gregory Myers now makes his way up to P7. Brad Maris is down to 8th. Houston 9th. Uren 10th. Bjorn Heyman in 11th. Connor Swain in 12th. John Ludden 13th. Sergio Calderon in 14th. Ryan Schleif 15th. And Mike Graytrix running in 16th right now. He's got Ryan Schleif right up ahead of him. Interesting little thing that's going on here. John Wathen in P17. Jonathan Cuppett in 18th. So a little bit of an interesting battle that's forming here for P15. Ryan Schleif currently holds that spot, but he's got Mike Graytrix not too far behind, and Graytrix seems to be making up some ground here. Wow, Ryan Schleif turned in the 129s and 130s. Mike Graytrix into the 130s, but he slowed down a bit with last lap with a 132, so he might be giving too much ground to Schleif to get away from him. Connor Swain with some damage to the right front of that car.
Yeah, you know, up there at that Schubeck-Moses battle, you know, Thomas obviously he's suffering from some tire issues there, not putting in the laps that Moses is. Moses is now turning 29s pretty consistently, and Thomas is trying to match, but he's just turning 131s, and by his pushing, he's getting a couple of sloppy laps out of it.
Yeah, I can't help but think that Moses might have taken on slicks. The track seems to be drying out there.
Yeah, so, you know, Moses with the slick tires on, most likely, and or enters, and Shubes with wets. So, as you said, he's sort of hunting around looking for a little bit of wet to cool those off. So, suffering later on, but he's still got Moses in sight, so that's a good thing because it's only going to take one mistake. But we are winding down. We got lap 51 on the go right now.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and that is that the lead that Poole had has dwindled somewhat to 13, 14 seconds. Not saying that Chris can catch him, but given the lap times that Chris is running with 129s, 130, he had a 133 there, that last one. So inconsistent lap times are not going to get him any closer to the bumper of David Poole.
Now, Poole's running is steady, 132s, mid 132s. So he's keeping it consistent, but definitely not the lap times that Chris is throwing down. And we're running lap 51, so there's not going to be too many left in this race.
Yeah, no, and you know what? David Poole has run a brilliant race from start to finish. Whoa, Ludden with a huge off.
Yeah, he was overtaking David Poole, actually.
Tom Schubeck running in P3, still uber respectable times, and not to mention a great slot to be in, P3 on the podium. Just got to keep it that way for the next few laps, and he'll take the last spot on the podium.
Yep, but you know what? You got to hand it to David Poole. Definitely a wet clinic.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. He's run a brilliant race, has taken it, like I said, from the word go, and he never looked back.
Running lap 52. I got to think we've only got a couple left, Ken. The skies have cleared.
The skies have cleared. Poole running off of the racing line to cool his tires, so no doubt he's got some type of a wet tire on, or an inter.
Yep, David's got about a 12-second lead over Chris Moses. And Chris has gapped Schubeck by about 5 seconds now. chat board here says that Ludden is on slicks. Which understandably shows why he has got a little bit more pace over David Poole right now as Ludden tries to take it inside and go around David Poole. John, keep it together there. You know you've got your race leader, so let's not get anything crazy happening late in the show.
Oh, Ludden with a bit of an off.
Yeah, he again was trying to overtake David Poole.
On board with P3, Thomas Schubeck. So, Chris Moses just kind of checking out now. In P2, he's just checking out, widening his gap back to P3, Thomas Schubeck. And Al Merriman just quietly running in fourth. Gregory Myers in P7. After having taken the wrong tires at the pit stop, had to pit a second time to change his tires.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker for Gregory.
Brad Maris. Oh, wow. Brad Maris not too far behind Gregory Myers in P8. Well, depending on how many laps we got left, there might be a battle brewing somewhere in there.
Well, I got to think that we are getting that this is the last lap.
We will jump on board with your race leader, David Poole, on the bonnet cam. David Poole making his way through turn 4.
Now back at P7 with Greg Myers. Greg is closing like a freight train on P6, Mike Trussler. But he may just run out of time.
Checkered flag still has not come out.
Well, if we're going one more lap, we got Myers, and Trussler all duking it out for P6.
Just caught up to that battle there. Still some spots of wet out there on the track.
Well, and that might be exactly what David Poole needs because he's only got a 3-second lead over Chris Moses.
Wow. I've got to bet that David Poole is wishing with all his might that this be the last lap, as there is a hard charging Chris Moses behind him. We're on board with David Poole. He takes it to the inside. And it looks that is it. Yep, I believe that is it. Your race winner, David Poole. Chris Moses second. And here comes Thomas Schubeck for third. Al Merriman not too far behind in P4. Ian Joe LaCour still having a bit of a rough time, but he's currently running in fifth.
Well, P6 still is undecided as Brad Maris is putting the pressure on Greg Myers for this final lap.
Brad Maris taking a look outside and inside, trying the over-under. Oh, Brad Maris has a slide. That was for P7, looks like. Mike Trussler will finish 6th. Greg Myers in 7th. Brad Maris in 8th. John Houston 9th. Marty Uren coming around for P10. Bjorn Heyman in 11th. Connor Swain 12th. Ludden 13. Schleif 14. Great Tricks 15. And Wathen in 16 decides that he just wants to blow up the Aston Martin.
Yeah, they'll have some work putting that car together for next week.
Boy, so that's it. Jonathan Cuppett will finish in that 17th spot. And boy, that's it, Jack. We're done here.
Well, great race again tonight. Kudos to David Poole. Hung on to the end.
Yep, absolutely. So, a lot of great racing here tonight.
David Poole, Ken and Jack in the broadcast booth. Congratulations. What a clinic.
Hey, guys. Thanks. I don't know about that. Just hanging on for dear life.
It looked like it was getting interesting. I guess you were hoping that it was going to end pretty soon.
Yeah, the tires were just absolutely toasted. I couldn't go any further into the race. I couldn't do another lap, so I had to stop when it was still wet. I figured it was going to get drier, but I didn't have any choice but to go with I went with softs in front and hard wets in back, and it was a handful for sure.
It's still a brilliant race. You did everything correctly. Geez, we had a couple of guys behind you that didn't fare out as well, but brilliant race again, David. Kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I tried to do the Jackie Stewart philosophy of win the race at the slowest pace possible.
Well, you know what? It worked out for you.
Yeah, thanks. It was a lot of work for sure. I was watching Moses' times coming behind me. I was nervous for sure, but
well, he was coming on like a freight train, but you know what? You did everything right. And I knew you were looking at the times to see that you had enough, and you had just enough. Hey, you won, David. That's it. That's enough said.
That's it.
Yeah, thanks. I actually went back and looked at the best lap. Of all the cars that were still running at the end, I had the slowest best lap time. So I don't know if everybody else took inners or what, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah, looking at some of the chat boards, it looks like a lot of the guys went out on innards, and some guys might even went out on some softs. A lot of guys had to double pit to get the correct tire choices, but you did everything right.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know if you guys caught John Ludden. I felt so bad for him. I was trying to get him by, and every time he'd get right behind me, he'd have to drive offline, and he went off, I think, 3 times. I lost a bunch of time trying to let him by, but so I don't know if you guys caught any of that. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, off of the driving line, it still looked pretty slippery out there.
Yeah.
Well, David, a big congratulations from the broadcasters up here. Well-deserved win. considering that you kind of ran away with it from the word go, and when that green flag dropped, you were just off and running. Matt Taylor, having qualified so well, unfortunately succumbed to the pressures of racing, but just showing great improvement there. So again, congratulations on your win.
Yep, thanks guys. Yep, I saw him leave. I didn't see what happened to him though. I think it would have been a lot closer race had it been dry. Those guys were really fast. I had a hard time holding them back.
Yeah, indeed. So we'll hopefully get the story on the forums sometime this week. We just want to thank you again for just sharing some of your information with us, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Yep, thanks for doing the broadcast.
So for Jack Ivy and myself, I am Ken Rodriguez, and for NAGP Thursday Night Racing, we'll see you next week from Canadian Tire Mosport Park.